How we doing, line? Did my shit restart? Kachaya! Good morning! Good morning! Kachaya! 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 Previously on Kimba TV. Higher time frame, I'm bullish. Okay? Even medium time frame, I'm bullish. If bulls are really going to be productive, I think that's the word I would use at this moment, then the rotation play should be easy. You know, all it is 886 right here. Even though it kind of overshot, you got to understand that it's still fibbed perfectly and it was pixel perfect VWAP. So you guys know that if it really is supposed to be bullish, it's going to be able to do this. And that's your inval right there. If I don't know, some people long that? I don't know. Kachoya. Lions, I salute y'all. How we doing today? GDP, y'all. S&P, help me. Let's get it. It's a Tuesday chat. Math is math chat. Are you prepared? Ladies and gentlemen, quit playing with me. Exact same TA as yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. Exact same TA as yesterday. It's a kachaya. No, we're not playing poker. No poker music. How we doing?
You know, one thing.
How we doing, Lions? I love y'all, man. Let's hit it with the D.
What did he say? He just told us to be prepared.
Oh, man, it's crazy because what do you think about Sol? Same thing as Biddy. But on Sol is crazy, dude. A dollar moves makes me shift 100K up or down. Yeah, testing it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Lions, hit him with the D. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Kachaya. Kachaya. Hit him with the D. Yeah. Sitting at the beach says time for a quick TA recap. Sure, you ready? All right, here we go. Sitting at the beach. Drum roll, please. Nothing has changed. Done. Yeah, nothing has changed. Literally nothing has changed sitting at the beach. Because look, I think we can all see it. That's going to get swept. That's going to get swept. Which one? I mean, at this point, one of them is going to get swept. Am I right? So if we're going to clean the high, then, you know, look for that swing fail, whether it's 96 or 98. If you lose this, then it's the story that I told you where my dog broke into my edibles and it had the craziest diarrhea. So I'm prepared to short, 97 on CME, 96 on derivatives, or long 91. Nothing has changed. All right. Do you have anything that you want to talk about sitting at the beach? Do you remember when I said it would be funnier to leave all of that? So I'm a little bit more on the bearish side, but you can't deny that if you start to breach these highs, then you're going to start a cascade and you're going to look for a swing fail up top. If you lose this or lose that, you're at a very high chance. I mean, not that one, but probably the value area low. So anything like lose this and it's going to be diarrhea time. All right, sitting at the beach. Yeah, and what I was really focusing on yesterday, telling people is, do you understand that tomorrow is GDP and PCE? And do you know that usually it's GDP first and then PCE the next day? It's rare. I think it's 1 or 2 times out of the year that you get a GDP and a PCE doubleheader. So you've been here long enough sitting at the beach. Do you think tomorrow is capable of doing an initial move as a debate? Because the GDP comes out an hour before US market opens as normal. The PCE number comes out 30 minutes after US market opens. So for me, brother, regardless of if it's a 96 swing fail or a 91 swing fail long, I'm ready for either or. You feel me? And depending on which one it does first today, I already know if I want to do the next one tomorrow or not. Does that make sense? So me personally, bro, I think it would be better to get the 91 long today, but I'm ready for the 96 short too. If we get that 96, 97, 98 short today, then the 91 long tomorrow ain't happening. So it's not just about the quick recap for today, but it's understanding at what point do you start to get ready for tomorrow? And what levels do you want to see holding or breaking today to help you for tomorrow? And regardless of what it does today, whether it's a 96 sweep or a 91 long today, you should know how that affects tomorrow. Because tomorrow when you show up on stream, you can't do this. You can't ask me to do a quick recap tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to show up early. We'll do like last minute TA, but when the bullets start flying, I'm going to be busy with my own positions and trades. You know that I'm going to try to get into like a 10, 11, 12 million dollar S&P play. So regardless of what it does today, like every hour, every 30-minute candle close gets us a step closer to knowing what we want to do tomorrow. Does that make sense? Sitting at the beach, how every level that is claimed or broken today helps us for tomorrow. Kachaya! So we've been through, we've been streaming for 3.5 years. We've done many of these GDP and PCEs together. So it's not our first rodeo. We started preparing and planning for this last week, if you remember. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Soren says, what if the 96-98 sweep happened during ETH? Would that still be valid? If you're asking me what the book says, it would not be valid. It would be better to have the RTH. Okay, let me rephrase that. It's not about if it's valid or invalid. It's about which one would be better. Okay? So, do you understand what it means if it sweeps during RTH versus if it does it during ETH? It means that it's less volume. Okay? But if it still sweeps, it still sweeps. All right, so people are going to get stopped out. Liquidation cascades and whatnot will resume when the markets open on RTH. Okay, what I think would be a better thing to recall, Soren, is that the last couple months and last couple weeks, we've been keeping track of ETH high sweeps and RTH high sweeps. So I think it's safe to say that it doesn't matter, or the markets don't care if it's not an RTH sweep. Therefore, I will take the ETH sweep. Yes. Hasn't it been making ETH highs and lows for the last 6 months? I mean, the most famous one is the high, the all-time high. That's an ETH high. So, yes, I would be okay with an ETH high, Soren. 3 more minutes. Let's go. Rafa says, just PP on me, Pixel. Ka-chay! S&P. Ka-chay! Let's get him. the usual. Actually, I mean, nah, to be honest, this is not, it is not an SFP fail. I'd rather aim for that now. Yeah. Gotcha. Stop the music. JV says spending time above value area high and settlement is more to the bullish side. Yeah, but remember, it's at least 2 or 3 30-minute candle closes above, so don't get got. Pig Talk says, hey, Kimba, the fact that we're consolidating near the top makes me a bit more bullish. On God, I guess we're going to see 91. I wouldn't really go with this it's bullish or bearish thing. If it breaks, if it starts to breach those highs, it's bullish. If it breaches those lows, it's bearish. Don't try to guess in the middle. I mean, I love, there's no right or wrong, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do like this, hey, it's bullish if it does this. Like, I think that's your subconscious kind of like seeking validation. I would still personally like 91, but dude, if it wants to make higher highs, here's the thing. You know how many times I've seen this and I was in a juicy ass long. I had my TP set here and I ended up round tripping the whole thing. I've done that dozens of times. So call me fucking paranoid, call me fucking traumatized, call it PTSD, whatever. There is a scenario where you leave those highs like that, Lions. So look, if it's going to clean the highs, let it actually start cleaning the highs. If it's going to breach the lows, let it actually breach the lows. But don't get got in the bing bong ding dong, talking about it seems bullish to me at the top. And then watch, just like how people were talking about, well, I think it's bullish for me. Watch, there's going to be motherfuckers talking about, I think it's bearish for me. Stop it. So nobody knows. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of stops down there, and the cascade is going to get triggered if it breaches the value area low. There's a lot of stops, so all you have to do is breach this or breach this. We're going to go. That's it. Which one? Other than that, I think it's kind of goofy trying to guess. And you guys have been with me long enough. If S&P is going to dump, Bitcoin's going to dump. Kachaya! Let's get nasty on them, man. But yeah, do you, But you see how I prefaced it by saying losing this would start the liquidation cascade, So you need to have your own threshold, Sweep, getting above that, getting above here probably starts the cascade, Getting below value area low probably starts the cascade right here. Hey, Kimba, I think spending time below value area high, we're going to get full rotation, right? I'm kind of bearish. Fuck! Not the drink, chat! Not the drink, chat! Stop the music, stop the music. Hazy says lettucing up right now for sure. Today's one of those days where you just let us up, you vibe out, you support the homies. Right? If you aren't in a position yet, maybe you can squeeze one in, right? You really only have the 91 and the 96 option, I feel like. Because you're not going to long here unless you really want to scalp, but that's absolutely insane to me. If I were going to long, I would, I would have to wait until 91. I don't even really want to do the 91, but I probably have to. 80, 82 will be better. And then obviously the SFP failed auction of that funky high up there. All right. But yeah, let's just let us up, man. Hazy, do you feel like you are prepared for tomorrow, brother? Do you feel like you know what to do if it scam pumps today? Do you feel like you know what to do if it scam dumps today? Will it make a difference to you if the high is set during RTH or ETH? Will it make a difference to you if it's swept during McCully? That's about it. And then do you think that there's going to be an initial move as a debate tomorrow? I think those are like the big concepts that you want to really make sure that you have under control. And then I think you're ready. Says really looks like they will keep it for tomorrow. But if they don't, you're ready, right? If they pump in 30 minutes, if they pump right in 30 minutes from now, you're ready, right? If they dump in 30 minutes from now, you're ready, right? That's all that matters. I think, Kobe, a lot of times when you start to have, because it may not be for you, but for a lot of people, when they start saying shit or thinking things like it really looks like they'll keep it for tomorrow, that kind of subconscious bias buildup is going to prevent you from actually executing down the road. You know, you might be thinking, well, that's a bad high. I'll save the short for tomorrow. And you might not take it today when there's a clearly like a short to be had. So it's kind of up to S&P, and just be ready for it. All right. Keep an eye on open interest. Keep an eye on CVD. Keep an eye on structure, and keep an eye on S&P. All right, Kobe. And we still have like 5 hours or whatever until U.S. market close. So plenty of time. Okay, but look at VWAP. Can we give it up for VWAP? These are 5-minute candles, by the way. But can we give it up for VWAP? Can we give it up for Fibonacci? Pixel perfect. VWAP and Fibonacci, pretty juicy, huh? I love you guys, Lions. We talked about if it pumps, if it dumps. We talked about if it pumps, if it dumps tomorrow, if it pumps or dumps today, if it pumps or dumps after RTH, if it pumps or dumps during McCully. Hit me with a specific question. Yeah, I feel like as long as you've been watching the highlights and, you know, staying up to date the last couple of days, you should be okay. Just trust what you know. You know, and if you forget something or if you don't remember it tomorrow, it's okay. Like, that's your opportunity to kind of gauge where you are. You know what I mean? So just do your best. And if you really think about it, life in general, right? Success, juice, whatever you want to call it, it's opportunity intersecting with your preparation. So I don't know, like, really at this point, if there's really like a condensed version to talk about, because tomorrow is such a unique thing, you know? So here's what I would say, Token. My first question would be, how many GDPs and PCEs have you seen before? Do you understand that it's rare that GDP and PCE is on the same day? Do you know that GDP comes out tomorrow an hour before U.S. market open like normal, but PCE comes out 30 minutes after U.S. market open? So have you seen a initial move as a debate? If I were to say that, do you understand what that is and what to look for, and not just what it looks like, but what the data is supposed to look like? Is it low volume, high volume? Is it a hidden bear div? All of those things. If you understand what I mean by initial move as a debate, then I would ask you, do you think tomorrow you could get that? If we're going to go clean the highs, you know what it has to do. If it's going to clean the lows, you know what it has to do. Are you already in a long or are you already in a short? Yeah, I think if you want to hit me up with specifics, I think the hardest thing would be if during RTH we clean the high. Right? Because then what the fuck are we going to do tomorrow? Like, we're going to clean the high during RTH today. We're going to get 97 sweep. And then that bitch is going to go all the way down to 92. And then we have a $1,000 initial move as a debate during GDP and PCE. And then we long 91. Either that or it's really bearish and it's not going to be a good long at 91 and it's going to nuke through that shit. And so it's going to do a bearish retest and it's going to be like an 886 or something. It's going to try to stop out everybody that gets into shorts today, right? And then you could always, do a little salt sprinkle and say, is it a bad high? Is it a good high? Is it a good selling tail? Is it a bad selling tail? So first things first, does S&P and Bitcoin sweep today during RTH? Yes or no? If that is a no, then the next question would be, does it sweep it during ETH? Somebody asked, I believe it was yesterday, would you take it if you don't have S&P Confluence? So my answer was no. Just trying to think of all the questions that got asked yesterday. Hazy Shadows has 91 long. What's your stop loss? That sounds like you're going to put blind limits in. So we only go in when the low is made, right? Hazy, do you understand that? The stop loss would be the low that is formed. That kind of feels to me like you're going to put blind limits in. We're not doing that, right? Hazy, if it helps, stop the music for a second. Hazy, if it helps, brother, it's gonna, I think, do you know how to anticipate a bull div? If you feel like it's gonna, on the first bounce, the RSI is compensating too much, which means that it's gonna be able to pull back and have a bull div, make a lower low, right? Or if you look at Bybit and you notice that there's longers longing the bottom on your first attempt, they're probably gonna get stopped out. So look for like a bull div on a lower low. If there's no longs in on Bybit at 91, then look for a failed auction. You need to be thinking about longing the 618 on the retest. Okay, and so the local lower low will be the invalidation, basically. Alrighty. But what about this fucking, what about this, Biddy and ES? I really don't want them to run up like the last 30 minutes, So I would really like it if they did it this hour because there's still 2 hours left. We need to find like one of those like MTV, like 80s TV dating shows. The camera pans over to the white lion and the host is like, "What kind of body do you like?" And I just go, 30-minute candle close. No, first it goes to contestant number 1 and one guy is like, I like thick girls. And then the host will be like, contestant number 2, what kind of body type do you like? I like petite. And then it pans over to me. And I'm going to be rocking these now. I'm going to be rocking some shades. Contestant number 3, what kind of body type do you like? 30-minute candle body close. 30-minute candle close above or below? Ka-ching! Gucci Romo says, me and my 2-year-old son watching the stream right now. That's awesome, Gucci Romo. Gucci Romo, you excited for tomorrow? Hey, at least they didn't sweep the Thang during RTH today. So at least like a third of our hypothetical scenarios are now gone. So we can kind of narrow down on what our options are going into tomorrow. So setup looks really easy. Yeah, obviously anytime these, resistance and support lines are going to get broken, you want to look for like the fake out. But tomorrow, initial moves at debate should be interesting. Luskinha says, if we do not reach the desired 96's sweep, is it worth it to enter a short either way in your opinion? I'm not going to have the data like from an hour from now, So if there's some sort of bearish edge, Luskinha, and you want to take it, go ahead and take it. There is a chance that it's not going to sweep it and it's going to go down to 91 first, right? So, but the way that I'm trying to articulate it is this, Luskinha. Your risk reward is a little bit off if you're trying to short before the 96 sweep. Okay? And in fact, 96 might not even be where you want to short. It might be 98. Okay? So just remember that it's not really so much about levels as it is about data and edge. Okay? But yeah, and I would just put my stop loss at break even and I would expect to get round tripped. All right, but what's going to be pretty, like all I did today, Luskinha, was clearly everybody can see that if you go to the 94 5s, the 94 3s, basically losing 94, you're going to shit yourself to 91. And at the same time, there's bad highs that clearly need to get swept. S&P getting nasty with it. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that are thinking about trying to get into scalp longs to be able to get up into the 96, 97. There's also going to be people that are going to try to blind short like a 97 sweep. So what I would do is just look at the data and see if it's favorable in your way. You know what structural edge looks like. You know what it means to see shorts getting stopped out or longs getting filled at the top. You know what a hidden bear div and a regular bear div is, and you know what my expectations are for S&P tomorrow. So kind of work that shit in together and just do your best. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. What I'm really doing is I'm using the GDP and PCE numbers to hopefully be a catalyst to set my positions up for FOMC. The FOMC is the real juice. So but yeah, I would be pretty careful about 96. It's probably going to go higher than what you think it's going to go, just to kind of fuck over the people that want to short the swing fail. Yeah, so for me, I would still prefer that we went to 91 first. It's an easier trade to long that and then short 97 or 98. But obviously, just by the definition that it would be an easier trade, most likely not going to happen. So new overlays done and the new book maps up and running for you guys. And I need to test out the CME book map. You guys excited for the CME book map? Ka-choy! So I'm going to be fucking with that all day, all night. And I won't stress myself out too much, and I'll just wait for RTH tomorrow. Lurson says, would you take ETH S&P short ever? Sure. I'll just put my stop loss at break even relatively quickly. So the worst case scenario, I can't lose. So Lurson, like, you've been here long enough to know that I'm a fucking stickler. I'm obsessive about managing risk and putting your stop loss at break even, right? You understand that as long as I'm willing to wait for edge, okay, that means that if there's a bull div or open interest edge or CVD divergence or whatever it might be, the people that are looking at that with me, they're going to also play that. So even if I'm wrong, I'm going to be able to put my stop loss at break even, most likely. It's rare that I'll take a trade. I actually can't remember the last time, but I get immediately filled and it's immediately red. You know, and it's not even green for like an hour or two. You know, it doesn't even play out the bull div or the bottom shorts or the top longs, and it's pretty rare. So yeah, Laskinhi, or who was asking that? Yeah, Laskinhi, I would absolutely take it, and I would just put stop loss at break even. Worst case scenario, what's gonna happen? I can't lose. Worst case scenario, I wake up and I got stopped out and I can't lose. So it's the same thing as not taking it, right? And if I get lucky, Lurson, that's right. Yeah, and if I get lucky, brother, then awesome. If I didn't get stopped out overnight, then that's awesome. But the real juice, and I know that I've been around long enough to understand that RTH highs or ETH highs and lows tend to get swept. And I also know that on a day like tomorrow, the initial move as a debate is highly probable. So I've seen a scenario where it's going to go to the ETH. It'll do the ETH high or the sweep today. It'll be like a shitty high. It'll clean it again tomorrow. You know what I'm talking about, Lurson, when I say that RTH will usually clean the overnight highs and lows? Have you seen that before? And when I say shit like the initial move is a debate, have you seen that before? You mean it sweeps the highs? No, not necessarily specifically like that. It just means that the initial move is false. So if it pumps right away, you want to try to short it. If it dumps right away, you want to try to long it. Even if the news is bad, a lot of times everything is priced in. So it would be extremely retail of you to wait for the number, assume that the number at face value is bullish or bearish, and then decide to trade off of that. You're going to get got doing that. My 5-year-old niece trades like that. So you need to be thinking about, is it priced in? Are people longing or shorting into exhaustion or absorption? What does Bugammas look like, et cetera, et cetera. You don't want to just sit there and be like, oh, GDP was the number that came out for GDP is bullish or bearish. I'm going to trade accordingly. But that's why you said first move is debate. Yes, and sometimes it's debate and sometimes it's not. And so that's why seeing it yourself dozens of times in the past will help. If you've never seen it before, it's a little bit nerve-wracking because you're going to sit there thinking to yourself, yo, how do I know if it's a debate or not? Or if you just blindly think that it's going to be debate, people will be like, oh, I took a long or a short because I thought initial move was always debate. It's not always. So you still need to kind of look at the data, and remember, GDP comes out an hour before U.S. market opens. PCE comes out 30 minutes after U.S. market opens. That kind of seems primed for initial move is debate. So the way that I'm going to just break it down, Lurson, is the initial move is a debate is going to take me into a 96, 97, 9, or on CME, it's going to be 97, right? So I'm going to go off of CME numbers, but it's either going to take me into a 97, 98 short, or somehow, some way, overnight, we're going to be dropping, and we're going to get that 91 long tomorrow on the initial move is debate. Sounds good? And it's probably going to be a failed auction. I bet everyone and their fucking grandma is thinking the same thing. So look for like a failed auction or a trident. The initial move, the first candle arrives, the second one cleans. So if you are going to be looking to long or short off of the initial move as a debate, I would at least plan for 2 entries just in case you get round tripped. Alrighty, Riddler says, do you mark the naked weekly and monthly levels? Sometimes. Hey, stop the music, stop the music, stop the music, stop the music. First time chat from Demon the Noob. Hey, Kimba, I've been watching crypto since Crypto Rush. Mount Gox days, sub 1K BTC. Let's go, OG in the building. I lost 30K years ago and have not re-entered since. Been watching your stream on YouTube for a few months. What you say, teach, all makes sense considering giving it a go again. Just want to say good work and keep it up. Not sure how you keep the hype up all day on sideways movement. Haha. Facts. No, you know what? Because I try to compartmentalize my own personal things. At the end of the day, if there's volatility, we got lions that are longing. We got lions that are shorting. So if there's any sort of minimal volatility, there's an opportunity for my brothers and sisters to be juicing, and that's awesome, you know? And even if it's crabbing around, there's always like data to be kind of extracted. You know what I mean? Sometimes it might look like it's crabbing, but it might be forming like a hidden CVD bear div, right? Sometimes it might be crabbing, but it might just be like Wyckoff accumulation. So, and a lot of times, just when enough people are yawning and getting tired of the slow movement, bam, green dildo, red dildo in your face. Yeah, but no, it's easy to be excited because I love hanging out with you guys, you know? And like now, the price action might be boring as fuck, but from what you just said and told me, Demon, I'm hyped up and ready to go for another couple of hours, man. So thank you for the kind words, Demon the Noob. Let me know if you want to talk about anything, and definitely let me know when you do decide to trade again. So Lux Slayer says, big day tomorrow. Yes, sir. Really, I think the only curveball that could happen for a bunch of us is the short happens during ETH, or even more confusing, it happens during Macaulay. So, you know, if you wanted to take the short, I would take it. If you get the open interest and the edge lining up, I would still take it regardless of if it's Macaulay or ETH only. And just assume that you're going to get round trip tomorrow. So put your stop loss at break even. Have 1, 2, maybe even 3 ideas on how you want to long or short, whether it's 97 or 91. So, and you know that bitch is going to be quick. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show up early and crack open a monster or two, probably 30, 40 minutes before. They say it takes about 45 minutes to metabolize caffeine. So I want to be hyped up. I want to be ready to go. Yeah, and we'll be ready. Any questions last minute, freaky deaky? Yeah, basically, Demon, as you probably know, the highs up there are not the greatest. So they do look unfinished, which means that it's going to get cleaned. So 97, 98 is kind of an interesting zone, and that's for CME. If for some reason we nuke overnight or something like that, 91 is the next place that I would want to think about longing. That 91.3, 91.5 zone. All right, Demon. And it's pretty rare that we get to have a double header where it's GDP and PCE. So tomorrow should be a candidate for initial move as a debate. What that usually means, Demon, is it might scam pump or scam dump right when the number comes out, the GDP number. And if that goes pumps to a level that we want to short, we're probably going to take that as a short. If it nukes, then it's probably going to be heading towards 91. I'm willing to long that. So yeah. But I hope we get to regroup tomorrow, Demon, because it is going to be an interesting day. All right. Shout out Demon. Ninja, let's go. Zazy, let's go. Fibception says, oof, I hope we don't get it during Home Alone. I think I would rather just wait for tomorrow. For sure. I mean, it's not going to hurt to take it, Fibception. Just understand that you're probably going to get round trip tomorrow, and that's okay too. On the 1% chance that you don't get round tripped, you could have a juicy ass short. But if they do that shit during Home Alone while CME is paused and they don't clean it after CME resumes, like 5% chance that they let you get away with it, but maybe you still take it just in case. How crazy would that be if the high is placed during Macaulay and they don't clean it on CME resumption? That would make no fucking sense. Right? But fuck it. Whatever. That would be hella goofy. What do you guys think about useless lines? How many of you guys were here for the lightsaber? How many of you guys saw me identify the 2 points? I connected the trend line with those 2 points. I went to settings and I extended the left and the right. I can't predict the future, but I think we do a pretty damn good job of identifying levels, though. What do you think? But I am pretty ass when it comes to figuring out if we should long or short it, right? We're all lions. Root for each other, help each other out. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss. He said he's gonna smack the shit out of you. Hey, don't do nothing crazy without me. Wait for me. GDP, PCE tomorrow. Let's get nasty. I'll be here bright and early. Let's get it. Have a great night, everybody. Rest up. Peace, everybody. See you guys early tomorrow. Kachoya.